You know that thing when you be like, oh, I will remember. You will not remember. I'm here to tell you that you will not remember. Hi, you guys. Welcome back to my channel. If you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Ogonna. You're welcome. If this is not your first time seeing me, welcome back to the channel. Do also subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. We'll be happy to have you join the family. Today's video is basically about things I have quit to simplify my life or to just generally make my life more enjoyable for me. So without wasting any time, let's jump right into it. Number one, focusing on things outside my control. So that's one of the things I've stopped doing, trying to control things I can't control. I'll just try my best to work on the things that are within my control and just leave the rest alone. Number two is always been busy. Like, it was a case of every single time, like I always had something to do. It was a case of when do I actually catch a break? Like, when do I actually now rest? I try not to overwhelm myself with too many things just so that I'm not always busy and I don't end up burning out. So that's something I've stopped doing. Next thing on my list is not taking my health seriously and just my general wellness. When I was younger, I overlooked a lot of things just because I didn't think that they were important. But now I've come to realize that the way you feel as an individual generally affects every other area of your life. So you want to ensure that you're feeling good so that it doesn't affect you and the other things that you want to do. So taking your health seriously is something that I have embraced in recent times, and I'm trying to take as seriously as possible. Another thing that I have quit is doing things that I don't enjoy. So if I don't find it interesting, if I don't find it relaxing, if it's not enjoyable to me, I'm not going to waste my time on it. The next thing I have quit is having extensive routines. So whether it's a morning routine, whether it's an evening routine, I have quit that. What I do currently is to make things as simple for myself as possible. So if I know the things I want to do, I just line them up like that. So it's not a case of maybe doing one thing for a very long time. Let me give an example so that it's clear. In the past, I would say maybe I want to work out for maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes in the evening, then maybe freshen up and then read a book for say maybe an hour. So it's like I put like a lot of things together, so it now feels really lengthy. So sometimes I just don't have the strength for all that. But now I've simplified everything. I've reduced the timing, so it's easier for me to do it now, and it's easier for me to keep up with it now. I've quit extensive, unnecessarily long routines, and I'm sticking to simple, short routines that I can easily follow through it. The next thing I have quit is having discussions that are not leading anywhere. It's like the discussion is literally pointless. So if I already see that a discussion is not heading anywhere, or that the conversation I'm having it's not going to benefit me in any way, and it's probably not even going to benefit the other person, I'm just like, there's no point wasting your time doing this. So I have also decided that that's something that I don't want to be doing anymore. And in recent times, I've tried my best not to engage in those sorts of conversations. If I feel like a conversation is edifying, or if I feel like a conversation is going to improve my life or help to improve another person's life, I see the reason why I can be having that sort of conversation. I'm just going to stick to things that are useful, things that improve me, things that also improve other people, and that's about that. The next thing I have quit is saying I am okay when I am not. Now, the thing is, I find that a lot of the times, the reason why I'm saying maybe I'm okay is maybe I don't want to have a conversation with someone about it, or I just don't want to talk about it, or I've not been able to gauge how I'm feeling yet. So I just say I'm okay just so that nobody feels the need to dig deeper into whatever it is that the issue is, especially if, like I said, I don't want to talk about it. In recent times, I've found that it makes a lot of sense if you're honest about how you're feeling, because if you're honest about how you're feeling, you're able to find a solution to the reason why you're feeling that way. People can also assist you if that is necessary. But if you're acting like you're okay when you're not, it's like it doesn't benefit you in any way. It can also lead to a situation where you feel so overwhelmed that you're not able to do other things that you need to be doing. Next thing on my list would be staying up late and not sleeping enough. But I'm sounding like this talking about this because I have not quit this entirely just yet. I'm still trying to find my rhythm. Like, it's still a bit of a struggle. That's the point. But I am trying my best, because the truth is that I find that the times when I actually sleep well or I sleep earlier, I wake up feeling good, like so good. But it's like I'm still trying to find a way to make this a continuous habit. So I'm still trying to find my way around it. But yes, it's something that I am really looking forward to quitting entirely. The next thing I have quit is trying to do everything by myself. I've come to realize that at the end of the day, you cannot do everything. Like, no matter how you try, you actually cannot do everything by yourself. And even if you attempt to do that, you're just going to end up overwhelming yourself. You're most likely going to burn out. You can break down. There's a reason why people are professionals in certain areas, or people are good in certain areas, so that you can reach out to them when you need that service, or so you can reach out to them when you need something to be done. For example, I'm a lawyer. If I want to do things that have to do with the law, I can do it by myself. But then again, I'm not even necessarily an expert in all the areas of the law. So at some point, I may need to reach out to someone else who I think is more grounded in that area. If I want to do something else that has nothing to do with the law, I will look for a professional so that they can do it, or reach out to someone who is good at it so that I don't end up stressing myself, or so that I don't also end up making unnecessary mistakes. So yeah, that's it. Sit down, do the things that you're good at. Let people who are good at other things handle them. The next thing I've decided to quit is complaining. Now, to be fair, I'm a human being, so it's not like I will not register my displeasure with respect to things anymore. No, the point is, I'm not going to dwell there, and that will not be the only thing I'm doing. That's basically what I'm talking about. So it's not like I wouldn't register my displeasure or complain if something doesn't make sense, or if something is making me uncomfortable, or if something isn't going the way I plan. I will, but I'm not going to dwell there and just continue complaining and complaining and complaining and not try to do something about it. Now, if I'm in a situation that I feel like is not going the way I have planned or is making me uncomfortable, if I complain about it, the next thing I'll not ask myself is there something I can do about this? If there's something I can do about it, I'll do that. Next thing I can ask myself is, are there better ways to go about this? If there are better ways, I will try better ways, or maybe try other ways if there are other options. But if I'm seeing that it's something that I can't do anything about, the next best thing is to just accept it and move on with my life. So just complaining endlessly and not trying to do anything or accept things as they actually are, if nothing can be done about them, it's a waste of time. The next thing I have quit, not even quitting, that I have quit is trusting my memory. Like, you know that thing when you be like, oh, I will remember. You will not remember. I'm here to tell you that you will not remember. Write it down. Whether it's a physical notepad, whether it's a notepad on your phone, write it down. So the easiest thing I would just do now is that if something comes to my mind, if there's something I'm supposed to do, I'll just write it down just to be sure that it's there somewhere and I can always go back to check it. It's so easy to like lose information like so fast. So write it down. The next thing I have quit is keeping things just in case. But generally, I like to have things just in case I need them. I found that as I kept doing that, I just kept having like a lot of things. It's like there was just so much clutter. It's like you're just keeping so many things, you're storing so many things. At the end of the day, you realize that you still don't get around to using them. So I've just decided now that if I don't use something in a while, I'll give it out to people who I think would have more use for it than I do. Because if I have not used it in 3 months, 6 months, one whole year, it's like, do I really need it? Nope. The next one is very similar to the previous one, and this one is buying things just in case. I'm no longer buying things just in case. If I need it, I'll buy it. If I don't need it, I'm not buying it. But when I actually have need for it, I'll get it. Because that's just how you keep buying things you don't need. Like spending money on things you don't actually need, where there are other things that may even be more useful to you in that time frame where you haven't gotten yet. So I don't want to be doing that anymore, just buying things just in case. No, just in case. If the time comes, if it's necessary, I'll get it. The next thing on my list is trying to always finish something. This one is streamlined to things that are supposed to be entertainment to me. And I'll give examples. Say maybe I start a movie. I'm not really enjoying the movie. Or I'll then be trying to finish it just because I already started it. Same thing for a book. I start reading a book and I'm just not feeling it. But I just want to just finish it just for finishing sake. I'm not doing that anymore. So if I start a book or I start a movie and it's just not working, it's a case of that's fine. You'll find your viewer, I'm sure. Your viewers will find you. Either way, but it's not me. The next thing I have quit is caring what other people think. Now, don't get me wrong, I care about what some people think. I care about my image generally as a person. But you see, caring about every single thing that people out there think, like both people you know, people you don't know, generally caring about what people think, not for me. Like I find that it's such a waste of time and emotion because at the end of the day, people are going to talk. At the end of the day, you cannot please everybody. At the end of the day, people are different and people's perspectives are different. People's driving forces are also different. So sometimes people may not guess the reason why you have done something the way you have done it. But it's not your job to be explaining it to them because it doesn't concern you. So that's the thing. People will react to things the way they understand it or the way they feel the need to react to it based off how they are, what they believe in, and what they are about. It's not your business to be concerning yourself with what every single person has to say. People that are important to me generally, obviously, I care what they think. But aside that, if you're not God, you're not me, you're not my family, you're not my friend, you're not a person that is important to me or that I respect, or that I'm interested in something that you're good at, then I don't have any business concerning myself with what you think. At the end of the day, everybody will think what they like, so that's about it. The next thing I have quit is comparing myself. My journey is different and other people's journeys are different, so there is no reason to be comparing myself with any other person just because they are not me and I'm not them. So at the end of the day, you can look at people's lives to maybe encourage yourself or to be hopeful or to know that something is possible or to learn and things like that. But you see, comparison is so unnecessary, so I don't do that anymore. I just feel like it's so even if I catch myself trying to do it, I'll quickly admonish myself and just like quickly stop it and change my perspective, because at the end of the day, everybody is different. But like I said, we're human beings. Occasionally you can fall into that ditch where you're thinking things and checking yourself and your progress with another person's own progress and things like that. But I'm trying my very best to ensure that I quit it because it's not beneficial to me in any way. The next thing I've quit is extremes. So thinking that things always have to be this or that. So it's either you're healthy or you're not. It's either you're eating healthy food or you're not. It's either you get the picture. So at the end of the day, I've come to realize that things are not necessarily always extreme. So it may not always be this or that, it can be something else. It may not always be black or white, it can be shades of grey. So at the end of the day, there's a whole spectrum in between. So just ensure that you're doing things that are leading you in the direction that you want to go. Sometimes I feel like if I'm not willing to give it 100%, it's like I'm just like, no need. But that's not it. The point is, if you're trying to be consistent, you're supposed to show up as much as possible. So it's a case of show up. Even if you're feeling like you can give 10% today, still show up. If you're feeling like you can give 30%, 50%, just still show up. Don't wait till you always have to give 100. So it's like 100% or nothing. Don't do that, because then you're going to slow your progress. You're going to obstruct yourself. So because there are variables and things that keep changing, you have to train yourself or train your mind to still be able to show up and do things, or still consider other options and not just think that it has to be either this or that and nothing else. So I've quit that because it's not necessarily helpful. So the next thing I have quit is buying things that I don't want to eat or buying things that I don't want to use. But I will streamline it to food or edibles. So there are some things that people will generally agree are not very healthy to consume. Now, if I don't want to consume something, I just won't buy it. Because if I'm in my house, I know that occasionally I'm going to want to munch on something. I'm going to want to eat something. So if I have those things in my house, I will most likely eat them. So when I go shopping, when I'm trying to stock up my house, I make a point of duty not to buy things that I don't want to eat, because if I don't have them in my house, I just won't eat it. So if you're trying to improve your fruit intake, make sure that you always have fruits at home. If you're trying to reduce your junk intake, make sure that you have less junk at home. So that's just a simple rule that I live by now. Don't buy it if you don't want to eat it. The next thing I have quit doing is always leaving my notifications on. I find that this is very distracting because I'm always wanting to check it. The majority of the time, the notifications on different apps on my phone are not turned on because I don't want them distracting me. Because if I hear the sounds, I'm trying to check. If I see them, I'm trying to check. I just assume that if it's important, if it's a matter of urgency, it will be a call. So if it's a call, I'll most likely see it. But if it's just a regular notification on an app, I'll most likely not see it unless I'm actually like with my phone. So that's something I stopped doing. I'm not leaving all my notifications on just so that I'm not getting distracted when I'm trying to focus and do something. I just find that it enhances my productivity. So that's what I'm doing. Next thing on my list is not processing emotions. I find that especially when it comes to negative emotions, there are times when I used to just want to just throw them under the carpet, not try to process them, not try to feel anything. It's just a case of not wanting to acknowledge that this is how I'm feeling. And at the end of the day, who does it help? Literally, it doesn't help me because it may now take me longer to get out of whatever that feeling is because I'm not even trying to sit with it and know what is causing this thing. So yeah, I quit that. If I'm feeling a type of way, especially when it's negative, I try to understand why I'm feeling that way. I try to know what has led to me feeling this way. How do I ensure that maybe this doesn't happen again? How do I now ensure that I get to a point where I'm feeling better? So the point is, I'm no longer avoidant when it comes to my emotions. I try to feel them, know what they're trying to tell me, and just pick it up and move on from there. The last thing on my list for this video is wanting to know everything. The truth is, I would like to think that I'm a curious person because I actually tend to ask a lot of questions if I'm actually interested in something. But I find that at the end of the day, you cannot know everything. So you trying to know everything can lead to a point of dissatisfaction. While I would still ask questions when necessary, I also understand that there are times when I may not get all the answers that I'm looking to get, and that is absolutely fine. There are so many other things I have quit in recent times or a long time ago just to make my life easier and just to make life more pleasant and more enjoyable for me. But let me know in the comment section if you can relate to some of the ones I have mentioned, or if there are other things that you as well have quit, maybe in recent times, or just because you've gotten more information with respect to life and just know that some things are not worth it, or that there are some things that you actually need to be investing your time into. So that's about that. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, do well to like, share, subscribe if you're not yet subscribed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.